Hi, I'm Rochelle, and welcome to the Transformational Soul Talks. I am here in beautiful Panama. I forget the name of the island, but it's a beautiful island that you live on.
Called Isla Solarte.
Isa Solarte. So I met this lovely lady, Anne Michelle, through LinkedIn and then decided to come down here and have a great conversation about some of the stuff that she is doing. She has shared with you guys on LinkedIn as well. So if you're listening to this, also check out her profile on LinkedIn and Michelle Wand. We're going to talk a little bit about relationship, transformation, and the alignment of what you're doing in business and how you're moving through. So, and Michelle, give me a little bit of background as to how you ended up being in this beautiful, beautiful island.
Well, I had a dream, right? I had a dream for years and years since I was a teenager that I wanted to live in a cottage by the sea.
Yes, you are.
And it had to be warm, not a cold, not an ocean that was cold. I'm a water person and I love being on the water, in the water, around the water. So, and unfortunately, when I got married and had children, we were in Colorado.
Okay, there's
And
lots of snow there.
So we were landlocked
Yeah.
and with winter, and I never liked it, but I tolerated it.
Mhm.
Always dreaming of that perfect beach. So I planned my life around, and all my vacations were planned to exotic beaches. And I traveled sometimes with husbands, sometimes with girlfriends. It just depended on the year and what was going on in my life then. But gosh, traveled a lot of places all over the world. Went to Bali, Thailand, came back here all over Central America. Was actually in Costa Rica when I discovered Panama. We weren't even planning to come here, but I saw
Oh.
a little ad in a little magazine. It's called International Living.
Mm-hmm.
It said cheapest land in the Caribbean. Called up the guy on the phone, talked to him for 45 minutes and decided, okay, we're going over the border.
And so here you are.
Here we are. We got here, loved it, bought property here. PS, 25 years later, I've been living here for 15 of those.
Very nice. Now, you also are in real estate, and that was something that she ended up being here for because it allowed you to have that passive income, but reside here. But my question is, and I think we talked about this a little bit, was how do you find what's in alignment for yourself? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I can go out, I can buy real estate, I can get into it. But there is a lot that goes into understanding the alignment of what is meant for you, what is not, and what is a lesson. So, what are your thoughts around that? Finding that alignment for you?
Well, I think that first you have to learn how to be centered within yourself
Mhm.
and find what's important to you. Answer those questions for yourself. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
And once you do that, then you can make some decisions around what it is you want in your life. Like for me, it was I wanted to be around an ocean. I wanted to never see snow again, things like that. And I knew that real estate was a vehicle for me to achieve those dreams.
Mhm.
So once I'm a very I believe in energy and transmission of energy, and my goal is to be so balanced in my own energy that nothing can really knock me off. And when it does, I have the resilience and the fortitude to just get right back up and recreate whatever it was I was doing or something different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And for people that are listening, understanding that it starts within.
Yes.
So wherever you are as an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing, you're going to want to first start from within because that is the most important.
Yes, as Bob Proctor said, right? If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Mhm.
So we create first these visions in our mind, and I created this cottage in the ocean, in the Caribbean Ocean, and made it happen with my inspired actions. I call them inspired actions because I'm not just doing any old actions. I'm doing intuitive actions that come from my heart and my gut and allows me to know what it is that's important to me and how to achieve it.
I think that was a very good point, and I want to swing back to that was inspired but important actions, because we can all run around and pretend we're busy doing lots of things, fixing this, doing that, making these calls, but are they inspired towards your definite purpose?
Yeah.
And this is actually a great thing, because there is a book that I'm reading currently called The 16 Lessons with Napoleon Hill, The Law of Success. And that specifically talks about having a definite purpose
Yes.
and being in alignment and taking the actions, because you can do lots of busy things, but unless you take specific actions that are pushing you towards that definite purpose, then it's kind of like a mishmash. You've got your fingers in 20 different pies,
Right.
right?
It's also a question of non-resistance and allowing. So once you know what you want, you have to feel anything that comes up around that. Say if you want to create, $100,000 because
Right.
you want a down payment on something, or whatever it is you want. You need to, and you have negative associations around money, you're not going to really get that 100,000, or if you do get it, you might lose it. But
Yeah.
if you get clean with whatever energy is around your feelings about whatever it is you want to create, then you have the non-resistance to allow it into your life. That's the other piece.
Yes, is the non-resistance,
Yeah.
right? Because so many times people want certain things. They're, really driven to have that great relationship or that fantastic home, but they have resistance around letting go of something that allows that energy to come in. And then they keep wondering why they keep hitting those roadblocks and why nothing ever shows up. And then they ultimately come up with that, oh, well, it's not really meant for me, or this doesn't work, right? It's about being in alignment with what feels good to you and which resonates with you, and you allow in. And you definitely did. You allowed all of this in, and she has achieved it. And it is a beautiful, beautiful spot. So are you still involved within real estate?
Somewhat in a different way. It's been an evolution. I started out as an agent in Colorado. Then I graduated to have my own business. And I had my own franchise there in Colorado. And when I moved here, at first I was planning to just retire.
Yes.
But then 2008 hit. And
Yes.
kind of cut into the retirement funds we had saved. So we decided, okay, we'll move to Panama and we'll still work for a while. And so I opened a real estate franchise here in Panama as well. And it was right after the 2008 crash. So it was like recovering.
Right.
And I could sense a boom coming, and I was right. So that next 10 years, I accommodated all the people wanting to move here, helped them buy and sell houses.
Nice.
Some of them twice, and then 3 years ago, I decided to retire from that. What I find myself doing is I need to be productive, and I wanted at this stage of my life to do something that was going to have an impact and leave a legacy.
Right.
So I really did some soul searching around what I wanted to do and use my expertise to do it. And I tried a few different things, thought about teaching personal development or things like that, but kept coming back around to the real estate and how if I could share those skills and those ways to make money with other people, that would benefit me and everyone else, and it would have a ripple effect into the community as well.
Nice.
So what I've been doing the last 3 years is building and selling one house a year and just keep that extra income coming in so that I can do exotic travel or build a new business or anything that I choose. And now my latest idea is I'm forming a group of passive investors to create a community. And the community is going to be for multi-generational.
Right.
And it's going to be for the elders who are over 55, their kids who are digital nomads, and even their kids if they want to bring them, because more and more young families are coming here with children.
Yes.
And there are schools popping up all over for them, international schools, or they homeschool. So we can accommodate, and there's a big gap, shortage of housing, especially for the over 55 crowd. You can come here, but if you start to need any kind of assistance, it's a little more difficult. And many people will go back to the States or move to a bigger city. And I thought if I could create an environment with a community that served everyone, then they would come and live there and be happy there. And it could be anybody from, you don't have to be rich to do it, but it can accommodate anyone from a lower income to a higher income, depending on your desires and your economic status.
And what is in alignment with you, right?
Right. And what is in alignment with you, of course.
Absolutely, because that is the biggest thing here is what is in alignment with you? What do you want to see happen? What are is your definite purpose and what are your dreams?
Yeah.
So ultimately, if someone wants to perhaps, invest in some property, they want to figure out what is their alignment, what is a short sort of thing you can tell them to where they can start if they're hearing this podcast and they're like, well, you know what, I would love to own some property, somewhere in the Caribbean. How do I start that? What do I do?
Well, what everyone does, right? Start researching on Google for the beginning of it and find out how it is that you purchase property here. And then start talking to people, talk to attorneys, talk to real estate agents, talk to experienced expats that have lived here. Come and visit the places you're interested in and get a feel for the energy and how it aligns with you. When I came here, I knew within 4 days that this was going to be the place.
Yeah, I think that's important. So for anybody who's listening and you're curious about what to do, know that you have to be in alignment with what your dreams are, what your definite purpose is. And you have to, as Anne Michelle said, take those actions, but make sure that they're with a purpose and they're in alignment with what you want to see. And ultimately, keep going because there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be challenges.
Yes.
But like you did, you transformed your life and you have put out exactly what you wanted to see. And she has made it come into her reality. So I really am glad that everybody who is listening got the chance to connect with us here. I got the chance to come to beautiful Panama into this beautiful, beautiful home. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this podcast and we will see you in the next episode.